Hey everyone, ready to really take your English to the next level? Today, we're going to move past the basics and get our hands on some of the most powerful and flexible parts of the language. The goal? To help you speak with way more confidence and precision.
You know that feeling, right? You're talking to someone, and you just pause. Was that movie boring, or were you bored by it? Should you say, I decided to go, or I enjoy going? These are exactly the kinds of tricky spots that can trip us up, but honestly, getting them right is a huge leap towards fluency.
So, let's ditch the idea that these are just complicated grammar rules. Forget that. Instead, I want you to think of the ing form and the to infinitive as two essential, multi-purpose tools in your English toolkit. Once you master them, your English is going to sound so much more natural.
Okay, let's dive right in with our first tool, the super versatile ing form. I love this one. I like to think of it as a chameleon because it can totally change its job in a sentence depending on what you need it to do. It has two main roles, and we're going to break them both down right now.
So, its first big job? It can act as a noun. Now, when an ing word does this, it gets a fancy name, a gerund, but you don't really have to remember the name, just what it does. Think of it as a verb that's kind of moonlighting as a noun. You'll find it in a few key spots in a sentence.
So a gerund basically does three main things. It can be the subject of your sentence, the main thing you're talking about. It can be the object that receives an action. Or it can show up right after a preposition, like at, of, or in. Let's see what that actually looks like.
Okay, check these out. In running is my favorite sport, what's the subject? Running. In I enjoy traveling, traveling is the object of the verb enjoy. It's what I enjoy. And in he is good at solving problems, solving comes right after that little preposition at. See? 3 different roles, same simple ing form. Super flexible.
Now for its second job, the ing form can also act as an adjective, which means its whole purpose is to describe something. And this is the important part, it describes things in a very, very specific way.
And here it is. This is probably the most important thing to remember from this whole section. The key word is cause. Okay? When you use an ing adjective like boring or interesting, you're not talking about the feeling itself. You're describing the thing that causes the feeling.
So let's make this crystal clear. The film was boring. It was the cause of the feeling. And because of that, I was bored. That's the feeling I experienced. The news was shocking. It caused us to feel shocked. Getting this one right is a real game changer.
All right, time for our second tool, the to infinitive. If the ing form is our chameleon, then I think of the infinitive as the explainer. Its most powerful job is to tell us the purpose or the reason why an action is being done.
You'll see it pop up in a few really common patterns. It often follows adjectives, like in it was difficult to find a taxi. You'll also see it after words like something, as in I have something to tell you. But the big one, as we just said, is using it to explain purpose.
Just look at this sentence. It's perfect. Why did they study all night? What was their purpose? To pass the exam. The infinitive gives you that answer directly and efficiently. It's the perfect tool for explaining why.
Okay, theory time is over. You've seen how the tools work. Now let's put them into practice. I'm going to show you a sentence with a blank. See if you can pick the right form. Ready? Let's go.
First one up, I'm looking forward to go or going on holiday. Here's a hint. Look at the word right before the blank.
The answer is going. Now I know this one is tricky, but in the phrase look forward to, the word to is a preposition, not part of an infinitive. And what follows a preposition? A gerund.
Okay, next one. Do you have anything read or to read? Remember that little pattern we saw with pronouns like anything?
And the answer is to read. After words like something, anything, or nothing, we almost always use the to infinitive to describe what can be done with that thing.
All right, here's a good one. The news was so surprised, or surprising. Are we describing the cause or the feeling? It has to be surprising. The news is the cause of the feeling of surprise. So, the news was surprising, and as a result, she was surprised.
Last one. What form of walk do we need to make it the subject of this sentence right at the very beginning?
The answer is walking. Here, the act of walking is the subject of the sentence. It's the main thing we are talking about, so we need that gerund form. Fantastic work.
So let's lock in the key takeaways. Remember, the ing form is your chameleon. It can be a noun or it can be an adjective describing the cause of a feeling. And the to infinitive is your go-to tool for explaining the purpose of an action.
See, when you stop thinking about grammar as a set of rigid rules, and you start seeing it as a toolkit full of flexible instruments, you can unlock a much deeper, more intuitive understanding of English. So my question to you is, what rule will you master next? Thanks for joining me.